Well, let's go to our panel. It's an all-women panel tonight. The Labor leader, Chris Minns, will continue to appear here, but there will be times when his commitments here will clash with those as the leader. We're joined tonight by Tanya Davies, the Shadow Minister for Natural Resources, a mother of three, degrees in economics and law from Macquarie University. We've had Tanya on before. In fact, we've got two Tanyas. The very able and highly principled Tanya Davies. This is the extent to which this woman is regarded in the electorate. In 2011, Tanya Davies contested the normally safe Labor seat of Mulgoa, was elected with a swing of 17.9%. Tanya Davies, can I come to you first? And just please tell me, before we go any further, do you have problems? Now, I don't go into rumours and everything, Tanya. I don't mean to embarrass you. Do you have problems with the Catholic Church buying land in Western Sydney for cemeteries that approximate your electorate?
Well, let me just clarify that, Alan. Thank you so much for having me on your program. The issue that I'm facing with my community as well as the local council is the Catholic Cemeteries Metropolitan Trust. It's not the actual Catholic Church. And they've come into my community. They've purchased an existing golf club and they have plans to change that completely into a full cemetery. Nobody wants the cemetery to be in place of our very much needed golf course. It's an essential part of the local village there, Wallacia. I'm fighting hard against the Catholic Cemetery Metropolitan Trust.
Did you say to your leader, though, if she approved this, I'm out of here?
I said I would resign, correct.
She's an honest lady, this. Please tell me, Tanya, thank you for that answer, an honest answer. Please tell me if I'm, and of course Gladys Berejiklian was frightened of a by-election, so hence we've had this mess about cemeteries. Tell me if I'm on the right tram. My correspondence, Tanya, to the same Tanya, is full of people who can't believe the latitude given to Matt Keane articulating Green's energy policy. Now we're told the state's transport network will sometime transition to renewable energy to decarbonise the state. And it seems people like Andrew Constance and others are mouthing the same stuff. Are you aware that Treverson Baker straddles both sides of the clean energy transition? He actually owns a coal-fired power station, also an electric vehicle charging firm. He's about the electrification of cars. But he has said this won't happen overnight and, quote, the existing coal-fired power stations are required to deliver reliable and secure supply for decades to come. This bloke knows the energy scene backwards. Sorry for the long question, Tanya, but do Keane and your government know more than Treverson Baker?
Well, Alan, there is no doubt I represent an electorate where prices are sensitive to families out in Western Sydney, and I'm the first person to speak up on their behalf where prices are on the rise, and certainly I'm fighting to ensure that power prices are lowered, and most definitely for our small businesses, particularly in Western Sydney.
Correct.
We need to have power prices that are affordable and that the power is reliable.
Correct.
And I just want to at this point commend the Deputy Premier John Barilaro, because he was courageous enough to begin a discussion in our community about opening up a civilised and factually informed discussion around nuclear power. And I want to commend him for doing that. We need to put aside the scaremongering and face the opportunities that nuclear power has for our community, and that actually needs.
But the fear-mongering also applies. Fear-mongering, Tanya, also applies to coal-fired power. Can I come to you, Tanya, because you're the Shadow Minister for Natural Resources? We've got a stack of coal and gas. The world wants it. Your party doesn't. How do you win an election?
Well, thanks, Alan, for inviting me along tonight. Can I just begin by saying that, look, the Labor Party is a broad church, as is the Liberal Party. But I don't accept that Labor is anti-coal or anti-gas. I think there are many examples of mines that the Labor Party has supported, and it's done so on the back of wanting to support job growth, economic growth and opportunities for those communities.
But Tanya, to interrupt you, sorry, Tanya, only recently the grid was short of electricity because of the reliance on renewables. Price governs supply. And at one stage, Tomago, one of our biggest electricity users, was being asked to pay $14,500 per megawatt hour. That's like paying $400 a litre for petrol. What would you say to the boss of Tomago?
Well, Alan, there's a host of reasons why the grid is short of electricity. The issue isn't the oversupply of solar. The issue is the undersupply of the infrastructure that's required to harness it. This government decided in 2015 to absolve itself of investing into infrastructure of electricity.
But if that were true, then why would you close down coal-fired power stations, Tanya? If that were true, why close down coal-fired power stations?
Well, no. Well, the government did privatise electricity, Alan, and they did so because they wanted to absolve themselves of any responsibility that they are required to do in ensuring that the grid is kept up to date. There's no doubt that the infrastructure is not there to support
but if the infrastructure is not there, we have to keep the lights on. Tanya Davies, Matt Keane is everywhere talking about decarbonising the economy, creating renewable energy zones across the state, connect them to the grid. Does anyone ever ask Keane what would happen once there's no wind and the sun goes down and no nuclear?
Well, certainly renewables are not the silver bullet at this point in time. I mean, already we're having discussions around the life cycle of solar panels, that there's no sustainable process of recycling solar panels when they come to their end of life. So even renewables have challenges. This government, the New South Wales Liberals and Nationals government, are firmly committed to our coal communities. And in fact, the Upper Hunter by-election demonstrated that the communities there understand the differences between the major parties.
But Tanya, Keane is talking about 100% renewables.
Alan.
How does your government replace the energy from coal-fired power stations? Yes, Tanya? Tanya Mahadik?
Well, can I just touch on the issue that Tanya just raised? When it came to the dendrobium mine in Illawarra, the Premier actually had a very different position to the Deputy Premier. So I don't accept Tanya's view that
there's no doubt about that.
The government is supportive.
Well, it's a mess. It's a mess, Tanya.
Case, the Labor Party, we know the IPC rejected that particular mine, and the Labor Party recently supported a motion by the Honourable Mark Latham to ensure that the mine or the operators could actually submit a new plan, and that it be classified as a critical infrastructure to enable the minister to make a determination.
Tanya,
these are the sorts of examples where the Labor Party have to step in to assist.
But just one question: you're federal leader, and you know everywhere you turn, the Labor Party, net zero carbon dioxide emissions means get rid of coal. Yes or no? Are you in favour of net zero carbon dioxide emissions?
What I'm in favour of, Alan, is ensuring that the communities across New South Wales, particularly in South West Sydney and across our rural communities, are supplied with electricity.
Yeah, well, they won't get it. They won't get it.
I've had communities in my area. Well, can I give an example, Alan? Very recently, I was helping about 80 households in my electorate of Bankstown in the suburbs of Georges Hall and Bass Hill that had severe outages in summer. And I contacted Minister Keane. No response from him. I contacted Ausgrid. I found out that it was a huge maintenance
when the sun doesn't shine, sun don't shine and the wind don't blow, Tanya, there is no energy. Quick one from you, Tanya Davies.
Well, just have a look at the track record of Labor governments. It was a Labor government in Victoria that shut down their power station, for the coal-powered power station, and certainly in the Upper Hunter by-election, our government came out backing in coal communities with a royalties for rejuvenation policy, because we understand that
Keane is going 100% renewables. Tanya, Keane, your minister is 100% renewables. Listen, we've got to go. All we've confirmed tonight, I think, is that it's my old man would say a bloody schmozzle, which it is, because you've got good people in the parliament who don't agree with what the government is aiming for and arguing for, and no one stands up to this Keane and says it won't work. It's an economic suicide note. So both Tanyas, thank you so much for your time. Always good to talk to you.
Alan.